Hello, listeners. It's Gunter Swoboda here with some exciting news. We're on the lookout for sponsors to join us on our incredible journey with Inspire Change with Gunter. If your organization cares deeply about meaningful conversations around masculinity, self development, and mental health, we'd love to partner with you. Our podcast has a wonderful, dedicated audience committed to personal growth and positive social change. By sponsoring Inspire Change with Gunter, your brand will connect with listeners who truly value thoughtful discussion and support initiatives that promote real transformation. We're incredibly proud to be ranked number one in Australia and number 5 in the USA on FeedSpot's top men's mental health podcasts to listen and follow in 2024. With an average of 50,000 downloads per episode each week from listeners all around the world, our reach is significant and growing. For more information on how to become a sponsor, please reach out to Miranda Spigener-Sapon, our showrunner and executive producer. We'd love to explore how we can work together to inspire change. Now, thank you for your continued support, and let's keep inspiring change together.
You're listening to Inspire Change, a broadcast that strives to educate, motivate, and empower men to challenge traditions of masculinity. To guide us through the intricacies and intersections of emotions, relationships, and male identity is renowned psychologist, author, and speaker Gunter Swoboda. This is Inspire Change.
Before I begin the actual podcast, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which I work. I would also like to pay my respects to their elders past and present. Welcome everybody to another episode of Inspire Change with Gunter. I'm your host. Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I'm very much in this episode speaking to men. Think for a moment back on how you experienced your dad. What was he like, especially in your relationship with you, your mother, your siblings, right? Just get a snapshot of what he was like. Now, the reason why I'm asking that is that in my work as a therapist, one of the things that I do naturally explore with most of my clients is the influence that their parent have had on them. And again, it's important to understand that I'm not going into blaming the parent. What we're needing to do is to explore the nature of the relationship. What was there, what wasn't there, and how the child reacted. How you as a child reacted. So, in this episode, I want to tackle a topic that impacts most of us to some degree or another. But, in many respects, it's not really discussed openly a lot of the time. And that topic is what's referred to as the father wound. I want to dig into what this wound means and how it shows up in our lives and how we can start to heal. Because heal we must, otherwise we will perpetuate the wound that we incurred on others. So whether you're aware of it or not, the father wound can shape your relationships, your self-worth, and to a large degree, even your understanding of masculinity, what it's like to be a man. So let's dive into this. What is the father wound? In a world of psychotherapy, this term refers to the unresolved pain that comes from a relationship with a father who may have been absent, abusive, emotionally unavailable, or just not there for us in the ways that we needed. So, yes, for some of us, our relationship with our dad was absolutely traumatic. He might have been an addict, an alcoholic. He might have been a gambler. He could have been violent. All of the above in some instances. So for others, that relationship may not have been so dramatic, but it could have been by default absent of many things, including affection, reassurance, feelings of security. And so, these things may not on the surface appear to be dramatic or traumatic, but they're certainly impactful. Now, for a lot of us, this wound also comes from a place where fathers were physically absent due to divorce, separation, and in some instances, death. But it can also come from fathers who were present but distant. Perhaps they were overly critical, or they modelled aggression, stoicism, or competition as the right way to be a man. The impact of this kind of fathering goes deep. It's more than just a memory or a single incident. It's a wound that often leaves us doubting our self-worth or even questioning our identity. It impacts how we feel about ourselves and the way that we relate to others. Now, again, let me reinforce the fact that this isn't about assigning blame. Many fathers themselves carried their own wounds they may never have allowed to heal. They didn't explore the wound. They didn't dip into the pain in order to heal, but rather just try to cover it up. But understanding this wound and how it operates in our lives can be a significant key to breaking the cycle. Let's talk about how the father wound affects us. Perhaps one of the most common ways is in our self-esteem. If you grew up with a father who was critical, distant, or unavailable, you might have internalized this as a meaning. That meaning might be that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not really worthy of love. This wound can become a shadow that follows you, leading you to seek approval from others in ways that feel exhausting. Or it can leave you with a harsh inner critic that's hard to shake. You internalize the father as your own critical parent, that voice in your head that goes off in a judgmental and critical way. Then there's the relationship challenges. Okay, so people with unresolved father wounds often have difficulty forming healthy, trusting relationships. Predominantly because you haven't had the opportunity for yourself to create a healthy, trusting, secure relationship within yourself. So maybe you're overly anxious about being abandoned, or you might find it hard to get close to others emotionally. Your walls keep going up. So it's like a barrier between you and the world. And you may not even be fully aware of it. In fact, a lot of guys that I work with have no idea that they're operating in that type of space. Generally, what they know is that frequently their partners become critical of them in a way that often their own parent has been, or the partner's trying to reach out and get close, but in their own ambivalence, the man with a father wound backs away, yet at the same time wants that love. So it's very confusing for the person who's in a relationship with a guy with the father wound. And let's not forget how this wound impacts on our understanding of masculinity. If your dad modeled a version of masculinity that emphasized toughness, competition, status, prestige, and or emotional repression, You might just feel compelled to live up to that in order to get your dad's approval. This can trap us in outdated and toxic views of manhood, where expressing vulnerability is seen as a weakness and where success is measured by aggression, dominance, and control. And to add a little bit of spice to it, money. These messages are powerful and they can make it incredibly hard for any man to connect with others in a genuine way, or indeed to be compassionate about ourselves or with ourselves, or let alone other people. So, what do I need to do? Well, here are some of the steps towards healing the father wound. Fundamentally, healing the father wound takes time, it takes patience, and often some guidance. But it is absolutely possible. And every step you take towards healing makes a real difference, not just in yourself, but the people around you. And so here's a few ways you can start. First, as you know by now, this is my mantra, it's all about self-awareness. The first step is recognizing that this wound exists in me, and then understanding how it is affecting me. This is where therapy is a powerful tool, and it especially approaches the inner child in me, the place where I have felt that pain most clearly but covered it up. Now, lots of different therapies can help us unpack this part. We talk about inner child work, family systems therapy, or psychodynamic theory. In my 42 years of working, one of the things that I focused on is integrating this into a system wherein the Making Good Men Great framework synthesizes those therapies into a process. It's a systematic process. It's an exploration of my past and understanding how my past is influencing the now. It's about attachment. It's about my authentic relationship in the moment. Or in some cases, we start off with the inauthentic relationship in the moment. Secondly, it's essential, and I really stress this, to grieve the loss of the father you might have wished for. Allowing yourself to feel and process the sadness, the anger, or even the betrayal that might be there is essential. This grief is real, and acknowledging it is an important step towards healing. The third step is about forgiveness, and that might sound a bit rich when your dad might have been, violent and abusive. But forgiveness doesn't mean you condone what happened or excuse hurtful behavior. What it means is the capacity to release yourself from carrying the heavy load of resentment. Forgiveness is for you, to free you from that burden so that you can move forward. And finally, for men, healing the father wound often involves redefining what masculinity means. This is an invitation to break away from traditional limiting ideas of manhood. Embrace a way of being a man that allows for vulnerability. It allows for emotional expression. And it also allows for kindness and empathy. This is the place where you begin to reimagine your sense of what it is to be a man, your masculinity, where you as a man can connect, express, and support others in a real, authentic way. So, before we wrap it up today, I want to leave you with an action step. A simple exercise you can do to start exploring your father wound. I want you to find a quiet space. Take a few deep breaths and try the following reflective exercise. Ask yourself, what was I seeking from my father that I didn't receive? Now write down whatever comes up. Maybe it was an acceptance, encouragement, or just someone who really listened. This is for you, so be honest with yourself. As you look at what you've written, imagine that you're speaking to that younger version of yourself who needed these things. Think of what you would tell him now. So doing this exercise can be a powerful way to connect with that part of yourself that's still seeking closure and healing. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. Every day you step toward understanding yourself is the day you grow stronger, to be more aware and to be more connected. So on that note, let me thank you for joining me today on Inspire Change. Take care, keep seeking, and remember, you have the power to break the cycle and define your own path. So until next time, this is me signing off. Love to hear from you. And if you're interested, please check out my work on www.guntersvoboda.com or www.goodmengreat.com.
Thank you for listening to Inspire Change, a broadcast that strives to educate, motivate, and empower men to challenge traditions of masculinity. For more information on the Making Good Men Great movement, or for individual or group coaching sessions with Gunter, visit goodmengreat.com.